Hey everybody, Brad Greenfield back here again for some more Excel 2013 training. In this video we're going to talk about some different printing components that comes with Excel 2013. Now printing Excel documents can be a bit of a challenge. Definitely has seemingly have a mind of its own, but a couple of tips, a couple of little shortcuts here in Excel that could help make this a little bit easier than what it may be for you in the past. So what I have here is just some sample data. I've gotten all the actors and actresses names from the show Nashville. I don't personally watch it, but I know it's very popular right now. So I just needed to get some data in here so that I could build a test or an example sheet that would span for a while, and then I just filled in some arbitrary information here. So when we have an Excel form like this and it comes time to print, the first thing that you want to do is go in and take a look at what it's going to look like using the print preview. So when we're ready to print, the best way to go about doing that is to go into the top of the ribbon and click on File. When you get to this area, you then go to the bottom or halfway down and click on the word Print. When that shows up, you have here, the first thing that you always want to look at is that I have one of 4 pages. Now, I did have a lot of data in there, but I don't think that it would have spanned 4 pages. So as I cycle through here, and I can either use these forward and backward buttons, or I can mouse over and actually use my scroll bar, but I'm going to use the buttons down here. So I'll go to page 2, okay, that looks about right, and then I go to page 3 and page 4. And I can see what's happened here is that my data was too long for it to print or for it to all fit in the area. So a couple of things that we could do right off hand inside of this window is we could change the orientation from portrait to landscape. So if I go to my portrait orientation here, click the drop down and change that to landscape, then that will take care of fitting everything in there. Okay, so that's one way that you can go about doing that. And again, if you have cells that reach out further, that may not even be an option. So I'm going to undo that and go back to the portrait orientation and kind of show how we can work with trying to see if we can make this fit into one or not into one, but into a sheet that looks a little bit better than this. So to get out of the print preview, I'll just go to the top here and click on the back button. That will bring me to this Excel sheet. Now you can barely see right here in between column E and column F, I have a dotted line. And as I scroll down here, we'll go between row 47 and row 48, I have another dotted line. Those are my page breaks. So that's a way Excel can say, hey, you know, this is what your page breaks look like so far. So that gives us a good visual as we're working on our data to know that that's the break off for to put all of this on, put these 2 columns on another page, and then the actual page break is right here. Now that we know we have a couple of pages that are, I guess 4 pages actually they're going to print here, there's a couple of different things that we can do to take a good look at those. So I'm going to scroll down here. Actually, let me just scroll up here to the top of our spreadsheet. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down into the ribbon or into the quick access toolbar here for just a moment. And in this quick access toolbar or taskbar, you'll hear it called several different things. We have some options. So right now, what's selected by default is our normal view. So that's what we're used to seeing here. But if I select this next one, it's actually called the page layout. So when I select the page layout view, now I can see all of my different pages. So if I scroll down, I can see that here's a page, here's a page, here's a page, and here's a page. Now this breaks it up into where we get a nice visual of the different pages that are printing. But one other thing I want to call your attention to here is that this will also allow us, now we could click in the cells and actually edit these cells, but this will allow us to easily edit the headers that are on these pages. If we wanted a header, or even if we wanted a footer, we could add information here. So just real quick, I want to show you some of the things that you could do here. If I click in here to add a header, you can see at the top I now have this header and footer design tool option. So I could put all kinds of different stuff in here, like if I wanted to put the current date, you'll see just a little Excel code there. I could come over here and put page number if I wanted to. And if I click out of that, it'll show me, or sorry, that was number of pages. Let me just do undo there to get rid of that. Go back into my page layout. So if I click here, I'm going to get rid of the pages and I'm going to actually put in page number. So if I click out of that, you see that it just has the page number. Let's say that I wanted to have the actual word page. Well, what I would want to do is come before that little Excel code and actually type PAGE and then put a space there. Now when I click out of it, I'll have page 1, and you can see this is page 3. Below it is going to be page 2. So that's a way that we could add headers if we wanted to. You know, that's really up to what you want to do, if you need headers for your sheet or if not. So to go back to our normal view, I'm just going to click in here and get rid of that, and click in here and get rid of that. So I don't want any headers, and I'm going to click on the bottom to get back to my normal view. So now we're back here in our normal view, and I can still see my dotted line that's indicating the page break there, and not really too concerned with the page break top to bottom, more concerned with this extra data that's getting kind of hung out here to dry. So a couple things that we could do here to fit this in. We could come in here, and let's say that we don't really need the grade. These are all going to be grade 6, and when I save the file, I'm actually going to give it a name of 6th grade. So I could actually hide that cell. So if I click to highlight, or that column, if I click to highlight column E and then do a right click and hide, well, that moves my teacher name over here, and I could hide another column. Let's say that I don't really need to know their age either for the purpose of my printing. So I could right click and hide that column as well. So now if I go back into my file and go into print, my print preview now has just 2 pages. So I can see that everything fits nicely in here, and it's easy for me to navigate. So I'll go back to my Excel sheet, and I'm going to double click on these hidden, in between these hidden rows, and have them expand again and get everything back to the size that I wanted it. Let's see, get it back to 110 pixels. Okay, so now everything is back to exactly the way I wanted. I can see here that my page break is again sticking these items out to the side. So let's say that these last 2 columns here I don't really need. I could actually do without those. Well, I could come to my top of my Excel sheet, highlight this first row of just the columns that I want to get on my print, or that I want to print, and I could mouse over the bottom of that edge, of that border, hold the shift button and double click, do a left double click, and it's going to highlight that information. So then in the ribbon I'll go to page layout and click on the print area and set print area. Okay, so now my print area is set with just these column A through column E. Now if I go to file and print, I can see that I just have 2 pages, and it's just column A to column E. So that's another way that you could do it. And then one final method that I want to show you here. Let me go back and get out of here. Now to set the print area, I could have also just highlighted this all, and then gone up to print area, set print area if I wanted to do that. So I'm going to clear print area. Now another third option that you can do to adjust this printing, besides you know, we'll get into some more later, but I could come back down here to my quick access taskbar, or whatever you want to call it, and I could click on this page break preview. Another way that we could go about adjusting our print area is to drag this blue line. So this is our page break, the dotted line, and then the solid is our data set area line, if you will. So I can just drag this over, and you can see now that the teacher name and the interest column are grayed out. So that means that they're not going to print anymore. And if I scroll down, I can now see my page break between line 48 and 47. So I can even adjust that a little bit if I wanted to. So let's move that down to where it's going to break between 49 and 50. And we'll just keep in mind and remember that it was between David and Macy there. So if I click, if I go into my file and then go into print, and we look at our print preview, when I look at page 2, I can see there's my page break. So Macy is the first one there, and then the last one on page 1 is David. So that'll do it for this session of Excel 2013, working with some printing options. We'll be back with more Excel trainings soon.